Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rebels Flux. My name is Chris Netto. I am the host of this show. Today, I have a special guest coming all the way from the Midwest, Mr. Derek Myers of Neoti. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man. Thank you for joining me. Can we first get a little bit of information what your title is? Because I think you're like the big cheese right now, at least the biggest cheese I've had on this show.
Well, you got me cheesing, that's for sure. So, my name is Derek Myers, and I'm with Neoti, and I'm the president and CEO.
Excellent. All right. First question, man. I have to ask, what is a Neoti?
Well, first, Neoti is an embodiment of 4 core values, which are relationships, responsiveness, technology, and service. The name Neoti originated years ago when we were talking about various electronics that might be on the internet. And so the next electronics on the internet was born, thus becoming Neoti. So it's
what an interesting way.
Yeah, top secret. It's not foreign. It's not a Greek god, but that is how it came to be, and we have embraced it and feel like it's a.
That's pretty cool, man. So it is basically just a made up word that you guys put together. That actually, you're right. I kind of was going towards like Greek gods, a mythological creature, the god of LED, sort of some weird thing. But no, that explains it all. So you guys are an LED company. Give us a little bit of the background of Neoti.
Yeah, so we're a 12-year-old company. We were originally formed to attack the digital signage industry. So we were installing digital displays in venues, so place-based digital signage, and we were operating an ad-based network. And we did that for several years until about 2008 when the market decided to make an adjustment to our business model.
I think a lot of people got readjusted, sort of like a chiropractor.
That's right.
In 2008, everybody, whether you liked it or not, you were getting your back cracked.
That's right.
Awesome. So you're an LED manufacturer. The interesting part to this is, what are you doing in Indiana, the middle of the country? Why Indiana is where you guys now have your HQ? What is special, or what brings you guys to Indiana as opposed to Silicon Valley or the Northeast or something?
Yeah, well, it helps when you're born here. And that tends to plant some roots. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it comes down to the people. As I indicated before, we embody 4 core values as a company, and relationships is one of them. And a lot of people realize that the Midwest is one of the most hospitable kind of areas. A lot of folks care a lot about their neighbor, and we really respect that as a company. And so for us, it's just a matter of being able to live amongst similar like-minded businesses in the Midwest that share our core values. So.
Well, look, I guess I have to start off by saying I'm sorry. I am from New Jersey. I may offend you, but I do understand the whole Midwest, chill that you guys have over there. It's very different. When I leave my confines of the tri-state area, I find that I'm super uber aggressive. Where here I'm kind of just like everybody else. But when you step outside these borders, it gets really, settle down, Chris, kind of happens a lot. So tell me something that makes Neoti different. You are in a very highly competitive market. What is the differentiator, or something that makes Neoti stand out from the rest? And you're all fighting for, the same business. You're all, LED manufacturers are, LED is hot. Build your own display, essentially. You're giving projectors a run for the money on the big display side. You've owned the outdoor market for many years, LED in general. So what makes Neoti, a competitor in that space?
Well, out of risk for killing a horse and then beating the dead horse, I've mentioned those four values, but they really are a genuine aspect of who we are as a company, and so it's easier to reference those and to build off of those. And so quite honestly, we're a relationship-oriented company. And what I mean by that is that we do truly try to take the time to assess what a partner or a customer's needs are relative to how we bring value to them. And then we are focused on how we respond to each other, because it does go both ways. We can get quotes and respond to a customer, but if ultimately they're not responding back to us, it doesn't build that relationship. But then also from a technical aspect, we have developed a pretty aggressive relationship with engineers all over the world, some in Europe, some in China, because most everyone realizes that this technology is not a Canadian-based originated technology or a US-based, originated technology. This is technology that comes from Asia, comes from China. Mm-hmm. And so we go there all the time, regular basis, have deep-rooted relationships with a lot of engineers that are developing the technology. And so we're embracing that and working towards engineering next generation technology and ensuring that we're offering something that's super robust and reliable, that customers can know that they're getting a really good quality product at a reasonable price. But then another big differentiator is our service component. We're US based, and we've launched our own local service center. So we're doing all our own repair and everything right here. And so you're going to get the same repair and service process each time you go through the process of sending something in on an RMA.
So what you're saying is, if I have a problem, I call, somebody may come on site, and the person who may come on site is actually somebody who answered the phone?
There you go.
Wait a minute. That's a novel concept these days. You guys are also selling ice cream out of the back? Is it like an ice cream truck business? I mean, seriously, moms and pops kind of mentality for a global company, that's hard to come by these days. How do you instill that? How do you develop that? How do you act local but think global?
Yeah, I think that some internal management in each of the customers that come in, we try and appoint, again, consistent contacts through the life cycle. So if a senior LED technician is brought in on a consultative sale, we ensure to try and appoint that same technician to that client account so that, again, installation, post-installation, and then through the service and support, they've in essence got the cell phone number for that technician, and they kind of become, married for life. And but again, that's what we want, and we realize that a lot of customers in the U.S. expect that level of treatment. So we try.
All right, I gotta ask: does your cell phone still ring at night with those calls?
Well, I mute it so it doesn't take it. But it wakes up.
Let the secret out of the bag. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. No, let's go back. I'm going to go re-edit this. And he goes, no, his phone is always on.
Yeah.
Just happen to have it muted. That's awesome. But
it's just so it doesn't wake my wife up.
Exactly. And we all know that could lead to, big problems. So what I would like you to do is I've sent over to the office over there some tinfoil. So I want you to shape your tinfoil hat and play the futurist for me, because people that see the future need to wear tinfoiled hats. So tell me, what is the future? What is the future for Neoti? You've already told us that you developed. You came from the digital signage world, essentially originally, and now you've in the LED business. The two kind of work together. Obviously, they are the display portion of content that's being created and the way to get the messaging out. What is the next, what is the roadmap for Neoti coming up?
Well, it's kind of multifaceted. As a growing company, we've put a big emphasis on developing channel partners. So systems integrators, design architects, design build is super important to us. We have a great relationship with Starin as a distribution and access to inventory partner. And so it's time for us to fill in a little bit of that gap between what's in the warehouse and what needs to get in front of the customer. And so we are very interested in those strategic partnerships. Additionally, we have been pretty aggressive in breaking out into fringe-based technology, meaning companies that are developing technologies that don't directly apply or are categorized as direct view LED technology, and forming strategic alliances and partnerships with them so that we can add some bonus technology, as I might call it at this point, to what direct view LED is becoming and what it is. And then, of course, much like others, we're looking at lighter, tighter, brighter, less energy consumption, all the above on what new technology comes to the table.
That's cool, because I've been on the other side, the install side, the consultant side. Lighter, tighter, brighter is not something I've ever used in a phrase, but I may have to steal that from you.
Okay.
Next time that somebody asks me about LED, I just may have to say, hey, I'm looking for lighter, tighter, brighter.
You go. Came straight from the foil hat.
And with my foil hat on, of course, because, I can't predict the future. I'm not a futurist, but, I can play one on podcasts, which is awesome. So you've now predicted the future. Take off the foil hat. Tell me today, where are your strengths in the LED space? Everybody, anybody who goes to a DSC or to an Infocom, any booth you walk in that's selling LED will tell you, oh, we specialize in this market and this market. What is your vertical of success for you guys?
Yeah, it would be in the narrow pixel pitch category. Our UHD series product has been very successful for us. We've done a lot of projects that test the capacity, the robustness of our technology by doing broadcast studios. Performs excellent on camera, great color. We're working with HDR on that product as well. So it allows us to just continue to showcase and show off that technology. And so really that's really our core wheelhouse with regards to picking one product to say where our strength lies. That it would be in the narrow pixel pitch.
Narrow pixel pitch, but specifically more on the broadcast side is where we can find like Neoti products right now. The bigger segment of where Neoti's putting product in right now is going to be on the broadcast side, the TV side.
It would be, yeah. We're in every major network now, officially, and working on some international studios now as well. So it's been pretty exciting to see it take hold, and like I said, we love the fact that it gives us some accountability and credibility with regards to its robustness. So if it's going to perform 24/7 live on camera, pretty sure it will do great in a boardroom or in a retail digital signage application. So
wow, that's the broadcast side of it actually puts a whole new spin on mission critical, I guess.
Yeah.
Most people think mission critical and I've had other podcasts before where we start talking about mission critical. Mission critical, I think, has even changed from not just from a network security operations center or a security operations center, the NOCs and SOCs, where you may have these LEDs. But I think mission critical is even extended into the lobbies where, you just dropped $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 on this massive video wall and it's not working, or the things are, the tiles are popping out, or something's not right. That just became, your image, especially that's the first impression. It's funny how impactful big displays have become in the psyche of a company, or as part of their marketing strategy for your customers, and also for, their public image. It's amazing. Where have you seen, to you, what has been your most interesting use of LED that you've seen your stuff go out into, or the one that you're the most proud of that you can talk about? Some of these things I know are kind of top secret.
Yeah, quite honestly, one of the more personal projects that we enjoyed was one we did early for Kansas University. I'm a past football player, and so love that sport, and so the opportunity to go to Jayhawks locker room and outfit them with something that would amp up their players and help them with recruitment was pretty fun. We did a single panel ribbon across the locker room in a seamless format that looks pretty cool when all the lighting effects and the sound system is going. So
and that's pretty cool, because there's actually a personal connection to that. Not very often do I get to hear about people having a personal connection to an install. I went to a Division III school, so I don't have that university pride of, oh my God, I got to go back to my school. And, I just went, I was a commuter college, man. It was one of those, you actually live Division I school. That's very, very different than what I experienced.
Correction there. I didn't play at Kansas.
Oh, what?
I didn't play at Kansas.
Okay. Where did you play?
I did play. I went to a Division III school as well. So
nice. Cool. We're brothers then.
There you go. If I were to back up and stand up, you'd see about a 5'8.5", guy that wasn't.
Great. We can see eye to eye.
That's right.
Awesome. I was telling my the team before I jumped on here. I said I'm much bigger on Twitter than I am on here. This video does nothing for me. Seriously, it adds weight and makes me look, shorter.
Yeah, I got to go to Kansas. And pretend like I was going to suit up. So
you know what? I spent the season working with an NFL team. I ran out that locker room like it was like I just got drafted in the first round. So I tripped going over the 50-yard line, but that's okay. And I was out of breath and kind of just rolled. It was not pretty. But anyway, so I'm happy to have you on Rebels and Flux. Part of the conversations that we've had is the tech and who you are and being a CEO. My job now is to break you down back to that 5'8" dude running out of that Division III school with 3 people in the audience like I did all the time. Anyway, so I got some questions for you. These are you were not prepared for these, so answer these as best as possible.
Okay.
Oh boy, what is more painful? The last 2 minutes on a treadmill or the last 2 minutes of the microwave?
Oh.
Ha! Think about that popcorn in that microwave.
Oh, that's a good one. Sadly, I would still say the last 2 minutes on the treadmill, only because when I'm on that treadmill, the entire time is painful.
Awesome. Perfect. Exactly what I was looking for. All right. The next one. What would I find in your kitchen junk drawer?
Ooh. Which junk drawer?
Multiple. Okay.
Oh,
let me preface it by saying what I have in mind. I think I have every possible cell phone connector that before it was like standardized. So I think I still have the old iPod connector with the big fat iPod connector. I think that's where mine resides about now. Probably that and a half a dozen screwdrivers, because I just buy screwdrivers just because I can't find them all the time and they're stuck in the back there. But anyway, so what would your answer be to what we would find in your kitchen junk drawer?
Yeah, it would be like tons of markers and highlighters, but never a pen, right?
And broken pencils.
Right, that's right. And expired or non-working cell phone chargers that my kids have, stuffed into that drawer because they don't work anymore. So they put them in that drawer. Maybe some Post-it notes. Yeah.
All right. You are an international man of travel, owning, being a CEO. So let's really get down to brass tacks here. Which would be cooler for you, to talk to animals or to speak every language?
Ooh. I thought I knew the answer to that right away, and then I
You have a
rethought.
dog?
Ooh, yeah, I
If
do.
that dog could talk, you may want to not ask him.
I know, but that's the advantage, right? The advantage is, if you can talk to animals, that in essence, you can talk to everybody. So I don't know. I might kind of, because those animals, they'll tell you all kinds of things. So, yeah.
All right. And this is a good one. This one is more, I guess, personal, outside of your kitchen drawer and what mess we'll find in there. What has failure taught you? Don't say you haven't failed, because you must have failed at a couple things. I know I have. But what lessons have you learned from failing? Or the best lesson you've learned from failing?
Yeah, I think that the number one thing that that I've learned is to be consistent in your effort. That because failure is certainly just something that passes by. It doesn't become a permanency by any state.
You're big on the dust, dust it off, get up, do it
Yeah,
again.
yeah, absolutely, and just stay adjusting the dream. Stay ambitious. It doesn't because there's no dead end. You can always turn around and go back the other way, which means you're still moving.
And no lie, no lie. All right. Well, I have another good question I can ask you. This will make it kind of weird. So if you had a remote control for life, which button would you have to use the most? Would you play more? Would you constantly be muting more? Would you be rewinding, or would you be fast forwarding? Wow, I think I stumped you.
Yeah, well, I would probably, it depends on what the effect is on time, but I would say probably pause, because I relish, I tend to really love the moment. And so if it means that things are still actively occurring when I pause, then maybe pause. If not, probably rewind, because not from the standpoint of wanting to fix things, but just wanting to do it again.
Awesome. Awesome. And my last question, and you cannot say Rebels and Flux for this answer. What is the scariest thing you've ever done for fun?
Oh, the scariest thing I've ever done for fun. That's a tough one.
Did you jump out of a plane?
No, I haven't done anything like that.
Did you run out of a football stadium wearing pads against guys that were 6 foot 300 pounds?
That may be one. I don't know. I would probably say when I was younger, a group of guys and I, we all owned dirt bikes, and so we would get together and go on these, endless weekend-long rides, across cornfields and bean fields and railroad tracks in various places, and quite a bit of fun. But we're looking back on it, it was exceptionally dangerous and quite scary.
That's awesome. Well, good. I am happy that we've learned not to go in your junk drawer. We have also learned that you are a former motorbike guy and a former football player. You're not afraid to fail as long as you can dust it off. And what else did I ask? Oh, the last one. No, I don't have another one for you. I had all these things all laid out here, but this is good. This is great. This is actually why we wanted to bring you on, because you're kind of a little bit different. You're doing things with LED from a very different perspective. And I commend you for doing something like that, because like I mentioned earlier on, you're very local minded, but you're operating in a global world, in a global, obviously, business. But you're still, carrying your doctor bag and going and doing house calls, which is kind of great. And that's sometimes that's the most important part of business that people forget. So I want to thank you for coming on and give us a better idea of what Neoti is doing that makes them a little different, makes them a little rebellious, and, brings us to this, to close at the show. So, Derek, where could we find out more information on Neoti?
Yeah, you can visit us online at neoti.com, which is neoti.com.
Yep. And if I want to go visit you, you are where in Indiana?
We are about 20 minutes south of Fort Wayne, in a town called Bluffton, Indiana. Population 10,000.
No, I'm about to say, I have no clue. In relation to where Indianapolis is, north, south?
Northeast Indiana. We are in the center of Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis, and Columbus.
Kind of strategically a good place to be.
It really is. It really is.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for giving us a look into what it's like to, run a LED company these days. Very rare that you get to speak to somebody who's actually doing the number crunching and some of the installs all at once, and doing a lot of the customer service and stuff like that. So I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to visit us. So for everybody there out in the interweb world, my name's Chris Neto. I am the host of Rebels Flux. You can find more information on this podcast right here on this lower third that just popped up. This is going to be a Starin sponsored podcast. So you can find out more about Starin at starin.biz. You can find out about me on Twitter at Chris_Neto. That's where I spend a lot of my time. I'm also over on LinkedIn. You can find out more about Neoti on the interwebs as well, as Derek had mentioned. And I would like to personally thank everybody for listening. Thanks everybody for watching. This has been an episode of Rebels Flux.